Okay.
All right, and we're live. Welcome to paraglidingtalk.com. I'm your host, Robert Michaels. Glad you are here. We're stoked. We have a great episode tonight. We got Steve Reed with us from Midwest Parajet. I thought I saw Scott in there too. Is he over there too?
No, that was my tech man getting me online before the start time. We got some good internet out here. What's up, Mike?
Nice. What's up, brother? That's Joe Wilson. What's up, folks? I'm just getting my little things here. I don't want any feedback and weird stuff happening. We shut this down. Bada boom, bada bing. Welcome. So glad that you're here. You're also joined in moderation by the regulars. Anthony Peregringo is with us, and then also Sean Mafsker in moderation. And then all the guys with the tool next to their name in the chat. If you have questions about some of the things that we talk about, maybe you want to ask a question or give a comment, drop it in the chat. Moderators will get that information over into the super chat, and then it will pop up on my screen, and then we'll answer those questions accordingly. So I hope you have a lot of questions for Steve. Steve, he's been on a couple great adventures, but if he's mostly known for his excellence in understanding these two-stroke engines, and he saved my bacon when we were out at the Salton Sea, and he's actually one of the guys that made it possible to help me get up in the air on a paramotor. So I'm super grateful for that. I want to mention a couple sponsors. One of those sponsors is Midwest Parajet. MidwestParajet.com is the website. Go check them out. And then also PBGSmoke.com. PBGSmoke.com is the website if you want to check out what they've got to offer. They've got some power floats. They've got some headsets, chase cams. There's actually chase cam version 2 out now. You know what? Maybe tonight we'll just make Ryan Roberts give away one of those. How about that? Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate you giving something away tonight. Also, the show is brought to you by American Allied Drains and Plumbing. If you're in the San Diego area and you're in need of plumbing, American Allied Drains and Plumbing is your company. If you mention Paragliding Talk, they'll give you a 10% discount on your plumbing services. You can reach them at 844-777-9055. Pretty awesome thing. Steve, thank you so much for coming in. I think you just literally swooped in, put your stuff down. Your motor's probably still hot right now.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. We had a bunch of students tonight. So right before I jumped on the computer, I took a rip and landed and jumped on the one wheel and ran down here and got my shit ready. So
nice. Well, glad you made it, and I'm super stoked for tonight's show. First thing that I want to talk about, and just for people that don't know, he was also on the show. Episode was like 157, I think it was. So go back and check out the website, paraglidingtalk.com, and go to previous episodes. It's somewhere in the 150 range, and somewhere in there between 150 and 200. So go back and check that episode out. There's great information in there. There's going to be some more great information tonight, so you don't want to don't miss a single second of it. I want to talk about your last free flight adventure. When we got to hang out for a little bit at the Salton Sea, you were talking, you asked some questions, and I could tell you had the bug for free flight, and so it's legit. Now you've done a couple big flying adventures. Your last one, I just want you to kind of share with us maybe a little bit about what your adventure was like.
Right. The first one we went on with Josh, that was in Brazil, and then I went to a BGD team pilot meeting in France. So
whoa, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. So I got to fly at Annecy. Have you?
Wow.
Yeah, and that was crazy cool. So
that's life goals right there,
dude. I'm telling you, it's amazing how beautiful that place is. How big it is. I mean, the launch site, they've got that, like astroturfy stuff down, and there's like lines on it, for people to stand in the spot to take off. And they had acro dudes going out ripping, and then you just curl off to the side and work the ridge and back into the mountains. And dude, I'm telling you,
endless.
I'm really terrible at thermal. Like, I haven't got the full grasp of thermaling, right? So my limits here are, toe stuff, but most of it is ridge soaring, right? So getting up and trying to fly in a circle, and I'm always trying to fly in a line, like I'm flying through stuff, oh, the lift's back there now, so, but dude, the people were awesome. I mean, that's what's really cool is you get there and you hang and you start talking with people, and there's people from all over the world there, launching off this hill. And um, dude, it was spectacular. I mean, really, really cool.
Talk a little bit about what your training was before you went there, and maybe just kind of fill in the gaps because you started paramotoring first.
Well, it was a combo, actually. I mean, believe it or not, we had a guy here that did a lot of free flying. So we'd go to the dunes and work our wing kiting and stuff like that, right? So I was kiting and little bunny hops and little sled rides down the dunes that we have here. The same time I was learning how to use the paramotor. So it built my skills up really good for taking off with the motor. So, but I don't know. For me, there isn't anything like floating above a ridge on that ridge lift, just like a bird, hanging there. It just, I don't know. You can't describe it to people on how awesome it is. But so that was my progression, really. Together, I went through an SIV clinic probably after I had 5 or 6 flights in. Scott was like, "Yes, yeah,
Wow.
yeah," but I had no idea where I was going. So Scott was like, "Come on, we're gonna go do this clinic thing. It'll be cool. You'll love it." And then they get up in the air. They're like, "Okay, now start pulling your wing down." Yeah. I was like, really? Like, we're really gonna do this.
This thing works fine. Why are we doing this?
But yeah, so we went through that little SIV, and I did some, but not near to the extent that I would go to another one to do. But so and then just started just flying and traveling more. But we always have the dunes here. Lake Michigan has some really good dune sites up along the northern side up there. So
No kidding.
yes, yeah.
Didn't know that.
It's really good for ridge soaring. There's little thermally stuff, but most of the time you just kind of hang on the dunes and cruise around. So I still go every year up there 2 or 3 times just to cruise on the dunes and do some ridge soaring. So that's pretty much. I did some towing with some of the guys down here that do the paragliding, and they do it. Oh, Yarrow Krupka.
Oh,
Yarrow.
you know Yarrow. No
Yes.
kidding.
Yes. So
He's
we
the
hang out with those
777 guy.
guys. Yeah. We'd hang out with those guys and do some towing. But yeah, then you meet so many people like in this sport, like, hey, you should come too. You should fly out here. Anytime you're in France, anytime you're in. So it's like, yeah, you'd love to, but to find the time is really hard.
Story about Yarrow. He's a champ. I had purchased my wing, my first real wing that I got. I bought a wing that was used off of eBay, made some, kind of questionable decisions pre knowing what I was supposed to do. And but my real first wing was a B glider made by 777, and it was called the Rook 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a great wing. It was a little spicy for me because I was brand new, and like it wanted to whip around compared to my A wing that I had first started on. I have the Ozone Vibe. It's from like 2004, so it was questionable, but it was brand spanking new. The girl that bought it, she didn't fly it at all, and yeah. But when Yarrow found out through the grapevine that I had bought this wing, he wanted to question whether or not that it was a good idea for me to be on that wing so early. And I had to get some references from some of the guys that I was flying with. I was like, yeah, he's good, he's fine. But I had a pretty big cascade event on that wing, and it was almost like he had called it, like, hey, this guy's a little bit too early, and he's off, like you said, in Chicago.
Yes.
So the fact that he reached out and tried to connect the dots for me and help me on that, super cool.
That's
awesome. I was trying to actually work out some kind of a sponsorship deal or whatever with him to fly 777, because I would have, but I love Ozone. I'm stoked on Ozone right now, so it'd be hard to pull me away. So talk a little bit about your wing choice for free flying and why you chose that wing, and then talk about your experience with your different wings.
Cool. When we grew up or started with Mac Para stuff, right? So I flew the Eden 3, I think, was my first paramotor wing, but the Eden is a free flight wing too. So we could go to the dunes and soar that wing. So I kind of stuck with Mac Para for a while. And once I started doing more ridge flying and I wanted a newer wing, I bought a 26-meter wing. Now, I think in the weight range of it, I was probably fine, but I had the misconception, kind of like, buy a big boaty wing, you'll float better. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, right.
so I bought a motored wing, but when you pull trim in and lock your trim into your carabiners, that's how you're supposed to free fly it, right? So that I kept for a while and used, but then I started doing stuff with BGD, and I started flying the Echo and the Epic. So Epic is their B-rated glider, low B. The Echo is the lightweight version of that. So I was flying the Echo. Now for motor, it was kind of slower, right? It wasn't a really good motored wing. Great for, believe it or not, it's really good, I guess, for beginner acro stuff.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes, I've been told that it works really well for intro, learning some of the, like, I guess it does really good helicos. But anyway, good stability for that kind of maneuver stuff. But I just transferred into a base 2. So
Okay.
that's an upper B. It has
Yep.
some of the tricks and stuff on it, like the Cure 2. But dude, beautiful wing. I like the lightweight versions of all these wings, so I have the base 2 light. So that's what I've been using. That's what I used in Brazil when we flew in Brazil for the 3 weeks there.
Okay,
And
so Annecy, kind
yes,
of nice, little thermic, but mostly ridge soaring.
no, Annecy was
All
definitely all
thermals.
thermal. Yes,
Okay,
yes,
nice.
yeah. And when you get over the lake, actually, the cycle is late. 4 o'clock is there, like, good cycle stuff going on.
Really? Okay.
Yes, and you get over that water and it's like there's a big layer of just lift. I mean, it's like you're on top of a cake, man.
Wow.
And you just hang out there and you're not losing altitude, and they can fly to, like, I don't know, 8, 9 o'clock. Seems like guys are working and cruising around. It's crazy. It's
Wow.
crazy. So that was the cool thing, that some of the guys there were like, don't be in a big hurry to jump off quick. It was like 1, and you're thinking, we need to go.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, just hang and wait. 4 o'clock is when things start moving here. So yeah, I mean, here's the funny thing, Robert. I don't know if it's this way everywhere, but Brazil, France, these free flight dudes, they go to take off from the ridge or the hill, and their wing is like folded up, flopping. They're like in a panic to get off the hill. I mean, it looks awful. I mean, really, really bad. Yeah. And so here's these guys like running off the hill, and here Scott and I and Josh, we're like kiting our wings like pros and standing on the hill. The difference is that when those guys got off the hill, they went down and then like straight up, right? No, we come off the hill and like straight down to the bottom. Yeah. That was the skill of these guys. I mean, it was really, really interesting to see how, like, they almost seemed nervous coming off the hill. Guys holding their wings up and stuff. Is that normal? Is that typical? I mean, these were really good pilots too, man. But
yeah, I hear that they don't spend a lot of time kiting, like we do. We play with it, but you don't necessarily want to be playing around kiting on the side of the hill, I assume. And they don't have wind a whole lot.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
For us, we've got wind all the time. It's like, oh man, we got to wait for it to chill out a little bit. We launch at 5 because there's these gusts that'll come through 25 mile an hour. And if you're trying to launch in that, you better be on your A game. Right?
Yes. So that was an eye opener. I mean, really understanding, you get so comfortable if you're a ridge source, staying by the ridge, stay by the hill, cruise around. I mean, these guys are like out and they're sinking like a rock, and all of a sudden, up they go, man, right up to cloud base. It's like, holy Jesus.
Yeah.
Just amazing. Yeah. The
It's a
guys,
different world too.
yes,
Uh, from segueing from ridge soaring, because ridge soaring, it's like, I know it's going to work,
yes.
but you can't guarantee when you just launch out. Like you said, you're heading out, you're looking for a bird, you're looking for some hope or maybe another
Yes.
glider. If you're
Yes.
the first guy, you better know what you're doing, because otherwise you're going to
Yeah.
bomb out.
Yes. Well, we'd watch, I think we'd watch most of the time the tandem dudes would go up,
Oh
the
yeah.
commercial tandem guys, and you'd watch them work and up they'd go. So then once that started, then like the herd runs to the hill. And I mean, you better have your stuff together because there's 100 dudes trying to get off that hill in the next 10 minutes,
Yep.
So it was, dude, it was an eye opener. It was when you hit it, it was like magical. I mean, we got to cloud base and did a little cross country. Dude,
Yeah.
I'm not.
You
It's when you get it, it's like too cool. Yeah.
I think Josh sent me some pictures after you guys hit cloud base a couple times, and
Yeah.
Josh was just ecstatic. He didn't know how to process that.
Yeah.
It's
Dude. Oh, you should have
natural,
seen
right?
him. You should have seen him when we're standing up on the hill. Now he's got pretty much nil experience at free flying, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So we're standing on top of this giant mountain, and they're like, okay, all the way down the valley down there, you see across the river. Okay, that's the LZ that we're gonna land at on the other side of the river. And you're like, what? Yeah, like no way. So Josh is pretty much quiet as a mouse, not saying anything. And man, I tell you what, the guy did awesome. We were screaming like girls when we hit those thermals, and we hit a couple that were like 5.5 meters a second, and it was like, oh, like a slingshot, and you could hear him screaming all the way from the hilltop. So, but man, yeah, there's something really magical, really magical.
So Brazil has some different dynamics, right? Annecy seems like it's like that's the Bentley of
Yes.
free flight, right?
Mhm.
Now Brazil has a little more. That's a spicy meatball. You got some
Yes.
thermals that might, yank you into the sky and
Yes.
hand to
Yeah.
God type stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the difference between the two sites and what were your takeaways from
Well,
flying those places.
here's what I can tell you is the guides that we have, the people that took us there and flew with us were unbelievable. I mean, just one of the guides, I think he was one of the guys that, what is that? Krieger Mir? What's the dude, the Red Bull XL?
Kriegel Maurer.
Yeah. Okay. When he went to Brazil to do that 500-kilometer flight that he did, he picked this guy to get him into that 500-kilometer flight. His name
No
is
kidding.
Yes, and he was our guide. What was
Wow.
his name, Scotty? What's
Wagner.
Wagner
Campos.
Wagner Campos.
What's up,
there's
Scotty?
Dude, how are you?
Yeah.
So Wagner was with us, and here's what's so crazy about having really good guides. He would be up at cloud base. He'd see us take off. He'd come down and be talking to us like, Steve, go to the left, go left, a little more, 500 feet more. Okay, turn right, hold brake, hold hard, harder, and like just steer you like a remote control car.
Nice.
He'd pick you up, get you up to cloud base, and then he'd leave you and go grab somebody else and bring them up and go over here and grab a guy. I mean, he just knew where everything was. So when you have that knowledge behind you, telling you where to go, it really makes things much more. I mean, it's still freaky, but it's much more comfortable knowing you have this guy that's going to keep you where you need to be. But yes,
that's a game changer for sure, to have somebody that knows the site really well.
Yes.
And Brazil's that's big boy flying. Some of that stuff gets you up to 18 grand.
Yes.
When you were flying there, what was the name of the main site? Do you remember?
There were 4 or 5 that we went to. So, Gandu, where they hold the paragliding championships, I guess they had a comp there probably a week after we were there. Governado Valderes was another site that we flew.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that one?
No.
Governado? We flew in. What was the name of that? The Black Rocks of Brazil in Espírito
yes.
Santo. Those
I
big
have heard of
giant. That was in Pancas. The town is called Pancas, and that was amazing. I mean, just to see just to be up on the hill and looking was cool. But then to
Yeah.
fly over that stuff was like prehistoric. I mean, it was really cool.
Yeah,
Really
that's
cool.
rad. That is like one of the I would argue that's one of the top 5 places that you want to free fly if you can do it.
Yes, if you can get there to see it and fly it, yes. Yeah. Candela, I think or Castello was the other town. And there was a comp there that we flew in. So those 4, and I think there was maybe one other one, but yeah, those are the big ones. And I'm telling you, they all hold major competitions at these places. So I know they were really good, really well.
Wait, now isn't that the one where they got the big Jesus statue on the side of the hill?
Yes,
Did you fly that site?
No. That's motored. That's motored to go do that.
Okay.
I think that's down in Rio de Janeiro, I think.
That's right.
That's in Rio. Yes.
You're right.
Yeah. But no, everything was well planned, the trip. And we hit all these different sites and flew each one of them for probably 4 or 5 days, and then went to another one. But I've never been anywhere where well, if I was good, I'd have been at cloud base most of the time. But because I was, scratchy and kind of crappy, I'd be at like 300 feet, but I couldn't land. I couldn't get to the ground. You try to get down, and if you get lazy, you're back up at 300-400 feet. And then you're getting whipped around and back down to 100 and up to 300 feet. It was like, holy shit, I can't get to the ground,
Josh was saying that he couldn't, for some reason, he couldn't get down when he wanted to get down, and when he wanted to get up, he couldn't get up. So it was like the very opposite. I hate those days. Those are the worst days. You're like, oh, I have to pee. Nope, you're not going pee.
You ain't going down.
Yeah. Hope you got a tube.
Yes.
You're peeing in the air.
But it was amazing. I mean, I came into land and I was coasting across the ground for probably 300 yards. Like,
I saw the video. That's right.
I had to boom, boom, boom. Like, it was nuts, man. I mean,
that's right. I did see that video.
Yeah.
You guys were, everybody was coming into land. It was just on the other side of the river.
Yes.
Yes. That was rad.
But dude, these people that set this thing up, one of them is the guy that I work with. He's my sales rep for BGD, and he lives in Brazil. So
okay, so you guys had a meeting.
Yes, exactly. So he actually's got a trip that he plans, and the hamster, what's his name? The old guy that flies South America all the time in the paramotor. Hamster.
Jeff Hammond?
Jeff Hammond, there he is.
Yeah.
All right. So he's actually going with Hafa to fly the Amazon River. They do a houseboat on the Amazon River. So he's going to be with them probably for 2 weeks in October, I think, is when they.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Jeff Hammond's my neighbor. I mean, he's literally. He's my flying buddy. We fly paramotors literally from down the street from my house all the time.
Awesome. Okay, so he's going with these same guys, but this is a paramotor trip.
He invited me.
He did?
I can't go.
Dude!
Yeah, I can't go. He even.
Oh,
I know.
Man, you're going to be wishing you sold everything you had to make it.
No. No, you don't even know, man. It's really hard. I got a lot of irons in the fire. It's just I can't commit.
But these are the things. This is exactly what I mean. At some point, we have to make these things happen. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. We're getting older.
That's
and
right.
these opportunities aren't going to be there.
I forgot. I got to put my time off request in.
Yeah. For October.
Yes.
So what happens a lot of times, it's either me or Anthony that goes with him. So he'll call randomly. Jeff will be like, okay, I'm planning an adventure. Can you get off work?
Yeah.
And we'll look at each other like, oh, I can't. You go, gringo. Because it's one or the other. Gringo's gone on a couple of them. I went on one where I didn't tell Gringo and I just went. We've gone on a couple together. It's just hard because the shop just falls apart if we're not there.
I hear you. Yeah. Well, but this is the thing, that's why this year we jumped on all of these, experiences just because we put them off. We'll do it next year. We'll do it next year. So I don't know. It's kind of like I got myself in some trouble for sure, but you can always work that out when you get home. I don't know if Josh told you, but look, dude, I didn't tell my wife that I was going to Brazil for 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
I bet that went well.
Yes, dude, it went over like a fart in church, man. It was not good. Not good.
Hold on. So you're packing and she's like, so where are you going?
Oh, no. It's even better than that. I came back from the Salton Sea of 2 weeks out there. And as I'm driving home and I'm about, I don't know, a few hours from home, I'm thinking like, man, did I tell her I was going to Brazil? I think I did. And so, not kidding you. So we're talking together, and I think she's listening, so she's probably giving me the finger right now on your show. But it was such a weird deal. But I came back and got up in the morning and I was like, I got to start getting ready for Brazil. And she was like, what? Like, then I knew right then, like, oh man. So of course, a lot of yelling, very upset with me. And then she's calmed down and she's like, well, when are you going? And I tell her 2 weeks. And so she got really mad again. Like, what is the matter with you? Like, and she calmed down. And then she said, so how long are you going for? And I say, 3 weeks. And that's when the shotgun came out. Like, okay, that's it. But dude, I mean, honestly, I don't want it to sound like, I'm really lucky. I truly am. I mean, that was a really bad move. And I swear, I don't know how. That's how fast things are moving now. Just like.
Well, but you're still married, so she's a keeper.
That's exactly right, bro. 35 years. So, yeah.
35 years married.
Yeah.
You look older than that.
Congratulations.
35 years
That's
of
awesome.
marriage. That's awesome.
I just turned 59 on the 10th of August.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah.
You're old enough to be my dad. Dad?
Yeah. I didn't want to tell you that right away.
Mom wants her money. She's in the chat.
Oh, shoot.
She's been looking for you.
Oh, my God. Yeah. So I try to keep from having too many of those, like, brain farts, to where I take advantage of my wife's generosity. But, so
what a
she's
trip,
been going. Dude, Annecy, when I went, now that one she knew about, and she will go back with me. When I go back again, I'm taking her. Annecy's a great place. There's a lot of cool little towns right by the lake. You can hang out in the village in town, and we can go screw off and fly, and she can relax and enjoy, that it'll be a really, really good trip. So that's kind of what we're going to plan on for next year, I think.
So you're going to do it again?
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, it was too cool. Yeah, that's where BGD's home office is in Grasse, which is right near Nice, France. So Annecy is probably 4 or 5 hours north, I think. But yeah,
it's time to spin the wheel.
Yeah. Oh,
Sean.
Yeah.
Get the wheel. We're gonna give away a PPG Smoke chase cam, but not this crappy old one. We're gonna give the new one away.
No more names.
Well, I'm not gonna give it away. Ryan Roberts is gonna give it away.
Hey Ryan, Robert's giving away some of your stuff right now.
You should seriously film this. Hold on.
No more names in the wheel. I know we're on time.
Here, I'm recording it.
Oh, you are recording? Okay.
You ready?
All right. Ryan, Robert's giving away your stuff right now.
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead. Let it rip. The spin of this wheel is not only brought to you by PPG Smoke, Ryan Roberts, who's going to give away this brand new version 2 chase cam, but also it's brought to you by Calamity Kite Clinic. And also it's brought to you by Nebraska PPG. If you're looking for some top-notch training, you can sign up with Josh Bowden and his team. He's got a great thing going in Nebraska. If you want to meet him, you want to meet up with him, or you want to reach out to him, just go on the website. There's a link in the description to get a hold of him on Facebook Messenger. Oh, what if I win? That'd be amazing.
It
Okay,
would
brakes,
be amazing,
brakes,
but
hit
you're
the
not
brakes,
going
Just
to
keep the
win.
one you got.
Hit the brakes, hit the brakes.
Oh,
Oh, so close.
oh,
Oh, it's 50X challenge?
Harley. Oh, keep going, keep going. Come on, go, baby,
Oh,
go.
what? It's probably going to be on the line, too.
what kind of
Nail
wheel is
biter
this?
here.
Green, go. Green, go. Oh,
Oh, man.
Congratulations, 50X challenge,
Harley.
Harley. Congratulations, buddy.
Harley is the winner chicken dinner. Congratulations. That's so funny. Oh, Ryan Roberts, thanks for donating that. Really appreciate that.
Does he know now you're giving his stuff away?
He has no idea.
Hey, bro,
So
here,
awesome.
here, we got all of our students in. They
Whoa.
came up. Hey, guys, say hey. There you go. So they just got done doing their little lessons, and some of them are flying and doing their thing on their own. So let's see. How did I do?
Oh, Hot Buttered Steve just donated $10 to the super chat, and he had a message. He said, "This message is brought to you by Midwest Parajet. Midwest Parajet. On a scale of 1 to Steve Minty, Steve Reed is definitely a 10." That's awesome.
How do I fix this thing?
I got
Now I'm seeing myself on.
no. I got the spotlight on you. That's why I
You
was.
did. What did you do that for?
Yeah, because I wanted to see all your students.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to see who's over there. Hey, you guys,
Hey, smile.
over here.
Come on. There you go. Introduce
bring it
yourself.
in. Bring
Hey,
it in.
Yeah.
I'm with Charlie.
Okay, you guys are on the
Oh, there's
internet
some over there,
right
too.
now.
Say hey, guys. That's
Are all
Steph's
these-
wife over there.
These people are all flying.
Yeah, man.
No kidding.
Yeah. So this is our hangout. See, pilot's lounge.
Oh, I like that.
Look at all those wings. Look at all those wings. Oh my
Where'd you
God.
get that? Is that custom? I need to get one of those that says paragliding talk for my backdrop.
Up there?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's amazing.
Scott got that for his birthday or something.
Look at how many wings and stuff you have in there. My word, you guys got an addiction.
Look, paramotors.
You got paramotors for days.
Hey,
Yeah.
have you guys seen that new Mav Max? Yeah.
No,
That it's the bring that thing out here, you guys. You got to see this thing.
what is it?
It's the Maverick Max. It's got a 140 prop on that factory R motor, so they built the bigger
Oh.
cage. Check this thing out.
Oh, no kidding. I did hear about
Oh, that
that.
sounds cool.
Uh-oh.
That is
Oh
nice.
yeah,
Somebody might be shopping.
Whoa, that thing is way bigger.
right,
Wow.
I need a 140 prop, Steve.
dude. You know what? I got Chris Holbert on one now. You know he's flying one. So these big props, man. I mean, they got too much. Nobody needs it except
It's
these
game
guys
changer.
that fly sideways all the time. You know, so.
Really?
But yeah, no, it's
That much more power?
oh yeah,
Wow.
those things
140.
push, yeah.
Will Fly donate
Hey,
$5
dude,
to the super chat, by the way.
It's like 5 foot wide. It's like 60 some inches wide. And you put your arms out and it touches the outside of the cage. So,
Wow.
but it's a beaut, man. I mean, it's
So how is it for getting the props? Because I know like you have 125s generally are
Yes.
typical. You know, usually when you get a bigger prop or a smaller prop or what have you, it can be a little bit more of a challenge. Is that a challenge for that size prop?
It isn't. I mean, because of the way that it's set up, typically there's torque compensation built into the machine, so it doesn't twist you up in a ball. But you got to manage your energy. You got to manage that torque a little bit. But I don't know. Have you flown a factory R motor yet? Any of you guys?
I haven't.
You haven't. Okay. Yeah, it's got a pretty good punch. It's got a nice punch to it. But
It's so
And
I've
good
seen 'em.
looking.
dude, and it's light enough too. That's the other thing. It doesn't weigh much more than the regular Maverick. So
And they stayed with the titanium.
yes, yeah. They did a little bit bigger tubing on some parts, and they did some upgrades to like the swing arms and stuff. to make them kind of cool. Everything that they do is just, you know, they just finish it. That's
It's
all.
top notch,
Yeah.
super nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Harley Milne from 50X Challenge, he's in the chat, and he brought up a really good point. He said, ask Steve to tell us more about Aerorythma at Oshkosh.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah,
so,
I need to know about that.
We were fortunate enough. One of the guys that we hang with, John Isley, is his brother is got ties. They all have ties up there for Oshkosh. So we were invited to do a demonstration in the Twilight Flight Fest. So we do I don't know, dude, it's simple flying because the people there have never seen paramotors before. So you fly in a straight line and put a light on and a little bit of smoke out the back end, and you're a superstar. You know
Yeah.
So, but dude, it's really awesome because we've got all instructors. We've got 6 pilots. One Up Adventure is also part of it. So Travis, Kyle, Allie have flown with us. Justin Fox,
One of the sponsors.
Yep.
Alexis, those guys at Leading Edge.
Yep.
Josh actually got to fly with us this year. So
I saw his picture on Instagram.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's simple flying. You're not pushing limits. Actually, some of the stuff it's weird trying to fly in a stack in a straight line is actually pretty challenging to keep, you know, people in
altitude,
the
right speed, separation. Yeah. You got to practice a few times.
Yeah, so you're holding some brake pressure. You're flying here. You got some brake pressure on, and they're like, "Okay, pull some smoke now." Yeah,
I gotta get to the button.
Brake and reach down and
Yep, that's funny.
It's awesome because when you land, that crowd is just gassed, and we go down the whole fence line, and like all these little kids are coming out, like can't wait to just, you know, hey bro, high five, way to go, you know.
And you still got the motor on your back too,
yes,
so they know
the
who you
light
are.
going and everything. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we got to do that this year. We actually managed to pull off 4 shows every night. We got to do our demonstration. It's about a 8 or 10 minute demonstration, and it's cool to be fortunate enough to be able to fly at the world's biggest air show, dude, in front of all those people. It's a privilege, you know. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
All matching shirts. I saw everybody gets their own little selfie picture for the Instagram.
So we threw Josh in the mix, and he didn't have a jersey, so he used Justin Fox's jersey.
Okay.
So we put a sticker on the back of it that said "not." We took some tape and so it said "not Justin Fox" because everyone thinks those two look alike.
Yeah.
So it was
definitely.
Pretty cool. But
I like to just randomly mix them up on purpose. It's like who was that? It's Andrew Fuller and Tom Kubat. I like to mix them up every once in a while.
Oh, really? Yes.
Yeah, they're like twin brothers. I failed to mention this in the beginning of the show, but since we're talking about props, paramotorprops.com. If you want to get a great deal on props, go to paramotorprops.com. Really best deals on the interwebs when it comes to props. I mean, you can't go wrong, and I guarantee they got those 140s in stock. You just call them up or hit them up on the website. Also, I want to mention Max Acro. If you know Max Marion, Max Marion has started a new website. It's for his SIV clinics. It's maxacro.com. That's the website. If you want to sign up to an SIV, that's who I did my SIV with. Absolutely incredible. And you don't just show up there and get a bro toe and, you know, go in the lake or whatever. It's literally you show up, there's plenty of training, pre-training, there's pre-classes, all kinds of study that you do before you even get in the air, and you get really good tows because of the place where they do it at, Lake Berryessa. It's a great place to do tows. And then also he's got some other stuff going on overseas. He's taken a group to Turkey. This year,
what's
I think
that town? What is that?
yeah, it's like
funny name.
Yeah, I can't think of it either.
Dude.
It's something.
Yeah. Someone's gonna type it in here in a minute.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways, They so go check out his website, maxacro.com, and you can get signed up, not for this year, but for next year, likely. But there's still a few openings this year if you're wanting to get some training. And I'm telling you, SIV training, hands down, best thing for me. It put my fears kind of at bay after I realized how quickly my wing would respond and come back if there was a collapse, or if I induced things that you would think, okay, this is going to turn me into a stall ball and send me right into the lake. I was astonished how many times my glider would just pop right back out, do what it needed to do
without
automatically.
doing anything, right?
Yeah. Hands up, let it fly, check the surge. And that's a really big deal for free flying, but that also translates over into paramotoring.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've got a whole group of students there. Let's talk a little bit about the next group. So you've got, I feel like our gear is getting safer and safer each time they put something new out. Although you get a little more performance out of these wings. Our landings are a little faster now. Things are, we're getting a little more momentum as a sport. We're seeing a little glimpses of here and there of FAA getting involved. Talk a little bit about what you're teaching on the ground before they get off and off on their own, and what can people expect coming into a course with Midwest Parajet.
We spend, our program isn't a 2-week course or a 7 or 10-day course. We have it pretty open. So the students come in when they can. Weekends, these aren't guys that can take off time. So most of the students we have for probably 3-4 weeks. Some of them progress pretty quickly and get up in the air sooner. But so for the duration, the first part of what we're teaching, we teach a lot of ground handling skills, forward, reverse kiting. That's where most of the concentration is building good kiting skills, so that when they go to do their solo or they go to fly, that they're not in a panic. It's not like, oh, okay, once the wing leaves the ground, I got to give some full power and just whatever happens. We try to keep it a very controlled learning process. So we walk them through those phases, the inflations, the kiting, power taxis, that way that they can get a feel for what it feels like to stabilize a wing with some power to it, and control it. So if it goes bad, they can slow things down, recontrol, turn around, maybe reverse kite, fix, turn back forward. But everything is based on control and getting rid of any fears that they might have. So I've learned something really important in this job is psychology, understanding what's blocking someone's learning process, dude. And it's amazing once you tap into that and you start to understand, like, okay, dude, just look, don't hide it from me being a tough guy. Just tell me what you're worried about. We'll clear that out of the way. I'll give it to you in a way that it won't endanger you. Like, let's go do a foot launch tandem. We'll take you up in the air. We'll get rid of that fear that you have about whatever it is that you're talking about. And you work through those things to where there's nothing like unknown, like, I wonder what this is going to be like. You know what I mean? They've worked through the process of toes. We've got a little sled hill that they can kite and then run off and create some lift. So we try to give them as much of that dynamic of flying in a safe way that keeps them like knowing that, oh, now I know what that feels like. Now I know what you're talking about. And everything is more relative. So, of course, we do the ground schooling. So we spend almost 2 days doing the ground school. If there's crappy weather, then we just stay in and like bang it out. But dude, it's really about exposing them to the things that we need them to do in the air. Making good decisions is probably the biggest thing, getting them out in the field, having them set up their wing and like, okay, so why are we starting here and not over there? Why did you pick this spot? Because it's close to your car, or because it's the best place to be, Right. So you get time to build a relationship with these guys. And that's why you see what you see behind us. These guys are here because they're our friends now. They hang out and they fly and they gain a little bit more knowledge. And so you can really build a really positive pilot making good decisions, because you get to see them fly all the time. Then like, hey, bro, I see you pushing it, and that's the other thing. You get to watch them, like the guys that are like starting to want a hot dog a little bit. And
Yeah.
like, pull the reins back in and like, hold on, dude. We're gonna do that. Here's the way we learn it. We need to go to an SIV. You know, we need to walk into this, not jump into it. So
Yep.
it's pretty cool, man. That's, as I was gonna tell you, I mean, these students here, the people that are here, that's why we're in it, man. It's not for the money, it's not for the publicity, it's not for any, it's to share that gift with these
Yes.
dudes and these women flying this. I mean,
Yep.
there's just nothing like it. So I think people, especially us instructors, need to kind of remind ourselves, you know, when things start to get kind of heavy and like, and it's trudging, and thinking like, hold on, man, we're doing this because we love it and we want to share this gift with these other guys, right?
Yeah.
So we need to forget about all the other stuff. This is the jewel. These dudes here, that's the payoff. It's these guys, yeah. So pretty awesome. Yeah.
You know, I came from the free flight background, and when I got into motoring, it was like I didn't realize how much was going on. So, you know, it's one thing to kite your glider, but now add a throttle.
Yes.
And now I don't have as much control as I used to have. And then I'm like, okay, now I got to manage this too.
Power, yeah.
Power. Now I got to manage that. And I have to think about, okay, and my trimmers, obviously that's kind of like a one thing. But I didn't really appreciate how I just, in my mind, I'm like, oh, motoring is like cheating and you just press the button or whatever. Oh, no, it's like a whole different set of disciplines.
Yes.
And if you, you know, obviously a bunch of it is just reps. We're going to just do this over and over again until it becomes normal. I still struggle with stuff. And I kind of, you know, part of me is like, man, I wish that I would have in the beginning treated the same way that I treated free flight. I didn't respect it until I blew up a couple props and
Well, look, here's the thing. I mean, this is what happens. You've got someone that's kiting really well, right? And everything's going good because all they have to concentrate on is the wing, right? So now you throw in, like you said, my hand has got another thing hanging in here. And now I'm working on managing power. So if your skills with your wing handling aren't really refined, almost like riding a bicycle, when you add this other part in, you forget about that.
Yep.
And that's where things go bad. It's like, dude, kite your wing. And it's like, they look at you blindly, like, I don't know how to do it. It was like, yeah, you did. That's what you spent 3 weeks doing, you know? So,
yeah.
So it's really interesting. Information, it's like a box in their head. And it's pretty small when they start the process of learning of how to fly, right? And you can only put so much in that box until it grows a little bit with their knowledge and stuff. So
most everybody here is seasoned. They've been flying around. Let's talk a little bit about hot topics. Anything coming out with these Vitarazi stuff that you're seeing over and over again, maybe recalls or things that you're like, oh man, I wish they would do something different. What's hot off the press?
I would tell you, they're still the most reliable machine that I put my hands on.
Right.
I think people overcomplicate things a little too much. Our nature with anything with a motor on it, most dudes like to tinker with it. I'm gonna make it a little better. I need to turn that. I need to touch this thing. Robert, I've been flying my motor for 3 years now. It's a MY18 with the old exhaust that I've never broken.
Wow.
And I never tune it. It's tuned. I fly it in Albuquerque at 5,000 feet. I fly it at the Salton Sea at 200 and some feet below
Zero.
sea level, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's really interesting because people think they need to touch it all the time, like fix it, touch it. I will tell you the problem to get it in the right spot would be the intricacy of how to tune it. And it's not much. It just is very fine. So that carburetor that we used, on the old machines was the same one that we're using on the Vitarazi. It's a Walboro 37C, okay? So that carburetor from the factory had the low screw or low jet needle was 1.25 turns out, okay, from closed, 1.25 turns. Now, with the way that Vitarazi has mapped and made it specific for their motor, it is only 1/4 of a turn out.
Oh,
There's
interesting.
Yes. So that means, I mean, from my logic says that the ports and holes are bigger. So
Right.
they've gotten rid of that mid-range crap in there by making enough fuel to run through that system. The problem is that to tune it, you have to tune it the thickness of a screwdriver blade. I mean, think that you turned it to make an adjustment and don't do it again and try it.
Yeah.
That's how small of a movement it is.
Yeah.
Because used to be that we go on, turn it 1/8 of a turn and try it. Well,
Yeah.
if you turn 1/8 of a turn, you are out. You are way too lean or way too rich.
Right.
That's 15 minutes. You only want 2 minutes.
Exactly. Your adjustments should be a minute or less, believe it or
Wow.
not. A minute or less each time
That's
you
just
do
to
it.
feel, that's just to barely feel anything, just at touching. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep, I think
Yep.
I've turned it. So a lot of times with the machines, if I have a person that's lost, he can't start his motor or it's killing or dying, I find out where it's at first, right? So I will turn that jet all the way closed, only the low jet, never the high. I've never in my life have touched the high jet needle, ever, all right? So the low jet, I turn all the way closed and I try to see where it's at so I can get an idea. If it's at 15 minutes when I close it, then I know it's
Crap.
probably on the leaner
Just a
side.
wave.
That would be the leanest. Yeah.
He
You all right?
froze up just a
You're
little
good.
bit there.
You're good.
By the way, I want to mention Wilson donated $5 or $10 to the super chat. He said Midwest Parajet rocks. Thanks for that, Wilson. That's awesome.
A couple guys, Andre
Bill.
Cotis and handyman Kurt, say thanks for the training.
Awesome.
A couple of students in there. Yep, I saw
Yeah,
those guys.
they're
That's
all
awesome.
smiling at me right now. They're like, yeah.
Oh, they're right there.
Yeah.
Nice.
So carb tuning, you have to remember, everything is really finicky. But once it's set, it should be good. You don't have to go in and mess with it, right? So you just have to know that if you're making any adjustments, if you're completely lost, close the screw all the way closed. Open it up 18 minutes, and then start walking it in a minute at a time. And you will find the proper setting. And what you're looking for is a sharp reaction in the bottom. Your high will always work. When you work through any garbly blah, 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 and it opens up, it will always run at the high end because you're not changing anything, okay? So you're looking for a clean line in between. So get it sharp on the bottom, and there's no pop, 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 pop in that mid-range of the throttle. So you can clean that up just by walking it in really, really slow. The bottom end gets sharp, but the mid is a little bubbly. Just walk it in just where you think you've turned it and try it again. You'd be amazed on how precise you can get that dialed in. And then leave it alone.
And then don't touch it again. Yeah.
Dude, here's something else, is the fuel. The fuel that you're using and the oil mixture. So there's a big confusion on the oil fuel mix. Let's just say Motul oil is what we're using. So the 710 is mixed at a different ratio than the Motul 800. Okay, it's a good synthetic oil, but so some guys will see on the website, it says to mix at 50-1, but it's not supposed to be mixed at 50-1 if you're using a certain oil. That oil recommends 66-1. That's what the Motul 800 is.
Oh, interesting.
We use Sabre, that AMSOIL Sabre.
That's what I use.
Mixed at 66-1. And it makes a difference because that's where all the crap spitting out of your motor. If your motor's really dirty, you got a lot of oil spitting out of the exhaust gaskets. end of the silencer tube. You look on your prop and you got little speckles of crap spit all over your prop. That's wasted oil. It will actually fill up part of your airbox. Your airbox will drip oil out of it because it's not burning at all. So the ratio that you use is really important because you're not getting your maximum performance out of that motor, and it might run like it's too rich. It's
Deceiving.
yes, it is. So those are probably the two biggest things that I find is guys are impatient with how they tune. They start fiddling with a lot of stuff, and maybe their fuel oil mixture is improper, so their plugs are fouling, and they think, oh, I just put a plug in a week ago. Well, if your ratio is wrong, you're burning your plugs out quicker. So when I go to tune someone, I start with a brand new plug, even if they just put a brand new plug in it.
Oh, that's smart.
Put a plug in, close that carburetor down on that low jet, open it up to 18 minutes and start walking it in. And seriously, if your motor does not start in like 1 or 2 pulls, then you need to tune your motor.
Wow.
It's not set right. That's the truth. So
that's great info.
Wrong. Yeah.
Assuming you got fuel to the carb and you primed
correct.
it.
And you primed it proper. Correct. Yes. But that's what I'm saying. Every time I start my motor, the prime is a depression of that priming needle that's on the back of the carb.
Yeah.
So I hold that down, and then it's just one squeeze of the primer bulb. So I have a full squeeze of fluid into the carburetor, right? That's getting rid of all the bubbles and everything out of it, right? Saying that you've got fuel up to the carb. All right. Once you do that, once you prime it, you cycle the pull cord.
Yeah, you taught me that.
Yes.
I do that every time.
Yep. Like 5, 6 times, nice and slow. Sometimes it'll even cough and pop, believe it or not, with that slow of a cycle. It's like, wow. So if you cycle your way through that one good clean pop, and it should start right off the bat. So that's a sign that your motor is not tuned properly. If you are wearing out a string and wearing out your starters, it's because your motor isn't tuned proper.
Man, that's great.
Yeah.
I want to mention a couple sponsors. This show is brought to you by iFly Indiana Powered Paragliding. If you're interested in flying paramotors, no better place to get proper training than iflyindiana.com. Kevin and his team will get your feet off the ground. That website is iflyindiana.com. Also, the show is brought to you by Lone Star Paramotor. Lone Star Paramotor, if you're in Texas and you want to get some training, you can sign up with Ron Turan and his team for world-class training. Their website is lonestarparamotor.com. Also, I want to mention Resurgence PPG. Resurgence PPG is a 501c3. If you want to make a tax-deductible donation to them, they support our men and women of uniform. Your tax-deductible donation can sponsor those who have put their lives on the line for your freedom. It is an amazing organization and a brotherhood. You can reach out to Todd Scandrett, who came up with the Resurgence PPG and has been just an absolute blessing to our military personnel and just people in general. He's brought a lot of people together that maybe wouldn't have known each other outside of, I don't know. It's just an awesome thing. So support them, resurgencepppg.com. We're going to go to the after show. Steve, thank you so much for coming on the show again. You always know it's a good show when it just flies by like that.
I was gonna say, holy shit, it's 9 o'clock.
1 hour just bloop, gone. So thank you so much. I really appreciate moderators. Appreciate you guys and what you do. Sean Nafsker, even my mom snuck in. Look at that.
Hey, Mom.
She squeezed in. Yep. And then also thank you guys for supporting the show on Patreon and PayPal. You guys are awesome. Keep the show going. For the price of a cup of coffee a month, you can support something that's teaching the people to fly safer, and maybe we'll keep sites from getting closed down from information we learn on here. Who knows? But it's a worthy investment. So thank you for those who have been supporting the show. And we will catch you on the next one. If I don't see you on the air, I'll see you in the air. And by the way, if you're in the chat, I'm going to drop a link that if you want to jump on the after show, you can come and hang out with us for a little bit.
All right.
So,
these guys are going to say goodbye. Hey, guys, say goodbye. See you later.
Yeah.
See you later.
So awesome. All right.